Hello YouTube, this is Grimweird coming back at you with more Enigmatica 2 Expert Mod Pack playthrough action for Minecraft 1.12.2. As always, we are joined by our lovely avatar, Zombie Steve. So last time we sort of got ourselves some draconium, just dribbles of it from the Twilight Forest, and did some ME, advanced or expansion, and set up some automated cobblestone and yada yada. Um, but I'm still sort of looking for things to keep me busy. I sort of have two projects going on right now. I've got, we're trying to make sextuple compressed cobblestone for a deep dark portal, and that's ticking away. So we're up to a couple quadruples, one quintuple. So we're getting there, but we're still probably, a few episodes out from having that. And the other thing we're doing is sort of waiting for our void miners to move through their business, to make sure I have enough rhodium and litherite to take these both to tier 2. So those are sort of the things that we got cooking in the background, and I'm trying to keep myself busy so that I don't just sit there and stare at them, waiting for that pot to boil. So when last I left, I was sort of excited to possibly try some RF Tools Dimensions. I had played with that a few years back in one of the only time I played a heavily modded tech mod pack, and it was quite a lot of fun. And with our Ender farm, we did get a whole bunch of demlets. So we opened those up and we got a ton of them. Oh, and I turned my Enderman back on to get more, if thinking that we might be able to get into that, into RF Tools Dimensions. But then if we take a look at this, so I was sort of reading up on this, trying to remember what we needed to do. So obviously we need an inscriber to create a dimension. And immediately I opened it up and saw that thing, and it's like, oh my god, no, we're doomed. We're never going to be able to do this, because I don't know anything about draconic evolution, but everything seems mega there. Everything is way out of control and takes huge amounts of effort and complex things. But then I clicked on it, and it's like, okay, elite plating, we could do that. We could do that. The dislocator, yeah, we could do that. Litherite we got. This we could make. Draconium block. Ooh, that's going to eat up, 18 of our 51 draconium. So, but we could get more from Twilight Forest if we need it. Plutonium ingot. You can craft the block. I've only got, I think, maybe access to a couple piles of plutonium from dragons, but we could maybe get that working, and the rest of this stuff is doable. So I was thinking, okay, yeah, maybe we can get into this. This could be cool. And then I clicked on the Dimension Builder, and all my hopes were shattered. So here we've got an Infinity Catalyst, an Awakened Core. We've got Indist Pearl, made on some huge extravaganza from Ultimate Crafting. A Void Ore Miner Controller Tier 6. We're just trying to get to Tier 2. Resource Miner Controller Tier 6 as well. So basically, dimensions are out. In fact, by the time I can do all this, I probably have got zero interest in dimensions. So for all intents and purposes, dimension hopping with RF Tools Dimensions is probably not going to happen in this playthrough. But we still got the Deep Dark portal coming along with our cobblestone generator. So that will give us something else to do, and a place to get a bit more draconium. I did check, and you can also get draconium from the tier 6 void miner. So as we work that up, that will help us out. And so that's going on. So what am I going to work on? That left me, again, we've got a lot of mods here. I want to break into something, except I have so much power right now compared to what I'm using that I'm a little hesitant to build any extreme reactors or big reactors or nuclear reactors or any of that craziness because I just don't need the power quite yet. Um, Mystical agriculture, that looked a little hard to get into. I don't know much about blood magic, and I haven't really needed much of the magic stuff yet, so we could swing back around to that. But I'd like to do something more techy at the moment, because that applies to more of the mods. So I took a look at Advanced Rocketry, and all of this was doable up to, I think, the crystal binder requires calcium sulfate, which can only be made through a crystallizer, and then there's this whole chain. So to do that, we need sulfuric acid and fluorite water. For fluorite water, we need a fluid enricher. For sulfuric acid, we need like a 2 or 3 step chemical reactors, yada yada yada. So that was a little daunting at first, but actually we're at a point now where making Nuclearcraft tools is not too hard. We got plenty of stuff, plenty of things going on. So I have gone ahead and made a fluid enricher and a crystallizer and 3 chemical reactors and an electrolyzer, and I even threw in a salt mixer, not that we're going to use it, but just to open things up. So if we take a look at Nuclearcraft, we've opened up these 4 bad boys, and I'm going to go ahead and claim them. Make sure I have room in my, yes, I got room for one more. So this is starting to look a little bit more fleshed out, so that's good. And I decided to go ahead and make all these Nuclearcraft machines because I know at some point I will need to do more of this. I'm sure we're just scratching the surface of all the salts and Nuclearcraft hoo-ha that we're going to have to get into. So I might as well make the machines now. So a wenge door, or 4 of them. It's actually sort of a nice looking door. But we don't need that right at the moment. Another observer. I've been getting a lot of those. Dead bush. Fantastic. How many did I get? 64. The only thing that's potentially good for is I may end up needing more of these twigs and prunings, which is part of the dye blend that you need for a lot of Ender IO stuff now. So I will actually take those dead bushes. That's not a bad thing because they're a pain in the butt to go harvest, since you only harvest one at a time and they're sort of scattered about. Pot, I'm not quite sure what to do with that. Don't know much about rustic. Observers. Alright, so that is about that for our advancements, and that opens up other stuff. DU plating, I think we've made some DU plating. Oh no, we haven't, because it requires uranium-238. However, the uranium-238 isn't that bad because you can take uranium ingots and make it with one machine. So that's not too bad of a step. Okay, so anyway, we have all this junk, and I need to make oxygen. I need to make sulfuric acid and turn it into dioxide and turn it into trioxide. I need to blah, blah, blah. I've already forgotten exactly what all I need to do here. I was just sort of making machines as I walked through the process path. So what I'm going to do now is I want to start getting into using, now that I have tons of Ender pearls, I want to start getting into using more of the Ender energy conduits and fluid conduits and all of that stuff, because those are so nice and you can have multiples going through the same block. So I made some fluid conduits, pressurized fluid conduits, and Ender energy conduits. I think we're reaching a point where I might want to upgrade the output capacity of my thingamajig. So right now it has a max forget where it says, but I think it's provider in there will only do a maximum of I want to say 20-some thousand per tick. Anyway, bottom line is I don't think I can pump out that much, so I might want to upgrade my provider in there so I can get more power out. Anyway, that's an aside. Bottom line is I'm going to go find a place to set this stuff up. I'm going to be making a bunch of extra chemicals, sort of like when we got into the electrolytic separator for mechanism, and over here where we're making like, you know, multiple things. We got hydrogen we're not using. We got stuff. It's a whole thing. Well, when you get into the Nuclearcraft, it's even worse. Like the Electrolyzer, I decided to try it for making oxygen, but it makes 3 other gases that we do not need at this time. So I made some trash cans to hopefully get rid of those. Made some fluid filters so that I'm hopefully not shipping them all over the place into the wrong machines at the wrong time. But this looks like a hell of a plumbing job, so I'm going to take this off camera and go find a spot to set this up. I'm trying to think where I want to do it. Anyway, I'm going to find a spot to set this up and see if we can get some calcium sulfate and see if we can break into advanced rocketry. And I will be back for the second half of the episode to show you what I came up with and see how successful we were. So be back in a second. Alright, we are back with our calcium sulfate production for moving into advanced rocketry. So what we've got going on is we've got, let me go ahead and grab some more stuff. Sulfur and crushed fluorite. Alright, so we've got a melter up here that melts sulfur and feeds that down into this chemical reactor. We've also got an electrolyzer making oxygen, voiding the other 3 liquids into this trash can. So the oxygen goes to here, and then oxygen goes to this chemical reactor where it mixes with the molten fluoride. So you can see here we got oxygen, molten sulfur I mean. So sulfur is melted, oxygen's created into there. This is creating sulfur dioxide, which was moving over to this chamber, which is also getting oxygen from here. And it's going from sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide. Sulfur trioxide is coming over here and mixing with water to form sulfuric acid. I haven't balanced out all the speed upgrades, that's why there's a lot of bottlenecks here. But we got water and sulfur trioxide going to sulfuric acid. The sulfuric acid comes over to here. Oh, and also, the other thing that's bottling up is that here we have a fluid enricher, and we put the crushed fluorite in with water to get fluorite water. So the sulfuric acid and the fluorite water combine to make hydrofluoric acid, which is voiding to this trash can, and calcium sulfate solution. The calcium sulfate solution is coming over here where it is in the crystallizer, going from a liquid to a solid. So sulfur gets melted, oxygen gets created, put them together to get sulfur dioxide, add more oxygen to get sulfur trioxide, add water to get sulfuric acid, take the sulfuric acid and the fluorite enriched water, combine that into the calcium sulfate and some hydrofluoric acid, which we're throwing away right at the moment, and crystallize it into calcium sulfate. So that is all going. So it turns out I think we actually had some crushed fluorite from, let's see, I think that came from our rock smasher, our rock crusher, which we were using actually to get zirconium dust. So we had some lucky spares there left over. But that's how that all goes. And I'm not sure how much of this we're going to need. That might be all we need. Let's take a look. We are doing this to make machine structure from the Vulpus library, which is the gateway to Advanced Rocketry. And we need to make elite plating. So one recipe here makes 6. We're going to need at least 3 recipes because there's a ton of stuff that's going to require this machine structure. So I'd like to make at least 3 recipes, which means I need 12 elite platings, which means I need 48 crystal binders, which means I need 24 of this recipe, which means I need 24 of this calcium sulfate. So for all I know, we have now made a playthrough lifetime supply of calcium sulfate. But the good news is I'm sure there will be other salts that we need, so we will be able to repurpose all this. And as soon as we need other stuff, at least I have all the machines to do it now. For right now, I think this thing just keeps chugging, maybe. Maybe not. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I turn everything off here just to so that nothing's running unnecessarily. All right, so I think we're in business. Pardon me while I sneeze. Sorry about that. I think we're good to go. We have lots of calcium sulfate now. What are the other pieces that we need? We need magnesium dust, crushed rhodochrosite, and pulverized obsidian. I know we have a lot of pulverized obsidian. I don't know if we've actually ground up any magnesium yet, but we do have the ore. So I'll probably have to put some of that through the pulverizer or something. The crushed rhodochrosite, we can pulverize that, but we'll have to make some first, and that is made by the atomic reconstructor. So I'm going to grab some magnesium, and I'm going to grab some rubies, and how many did I say I needed? I needed 12, 48, 24. So I think for right now, I'm going to go ahead and make, say, 28 of these bad boys. I don't know if I'll need much more than that ever. So let's go do that real quick. chuck those out. Hit the old atomic reconstructor. Took a couple shots, but we now have 28 rhodochrosite. Let's go pulverize this stuff. Alrighty. So now we should be able to make the crystal binder. I think I'm going to want 24 for now. Is that right? No, let's see. We want 12. I want 48. All right. TU plating. All right, so this is my next task. I need to make, is this the right stuff? Yeah. So I need to make now another jump cut while I make a isotope separator that will allow me to take uranium dust or ingots into uranium-238. So I will pause here and we'll be back and get that made. And is there anything else I need to do while I'm gone? Let's see. Ooh, this is going to actually take some time too. I can make it, but I do not have most of this ready to roll or automated in any sense of the word, including Lumion. Which, how do you make that again? Energized glowstone, silver, and tin. So that whole process is going to take some time. So why don't I go ahead and jump cut here. We made one of the sticking points, but this will be fairly easy. I have sulfur. I have advanced plating, or can make it easy. Yeah, I should just have it. That's enough. Well, I'll make a few more. But that's easy to make, and I have that on Autocraft, I think, even. But the other sticking point will be making this bad boy, which I can do that. I've got the induction smelter. I can make cinnabar. I might have to make some more signalum, but I can do that. Rosin, I do not have a fractionating still, or if, actually I think I do, I just haven't used it yet. I don't think I have any resin on hand, so I might actually have to go collect some resin from a rubber tree. Fortunately, I know where some are. So yeah, we got fractionating still. I either have one or can make one. Need to make resin and turn it into rosin. Rich slag. I think I have rich slag. Let's take a look. If not, I'll have to run something through the... I do not. Alright, so I'll have to run something through my induction smelter that will generate it. So I'll look for something here that has a nice high percentage, but uses cheap things. It looks like cinnabar is the thing that's gives you a high percentage chance of rich slag. And I'll be making some cinnabar anyway. Yeah, everything with 75% is coming up cinnabar, so I'll make enough of that to also make rich slag. Yep. Alright, so we'll need to make enough cinnabar for this cinnabar, and then we'll make extra to feed through the induction to get this. And we'll have to make some molten aluminum, which I can do, but that'll take some time. And we'll make all of this stuff. I hope I have a hardened cell frame. I probably don't. If not, I gotta go through the empower. So that beast is all gonna take a whole heck of a lot of time, possibly. That's why I'm gonna make 3 recipes of this and get 18 machine structures out. If we take a look at Advanced Rocketry, it's like a lot of these machines are going to take probably these machine structures. So we're going to have all sorts of ones, and the advanced does not take. Okay. Well, maybe I'll just double check and make sure how many of these I need before I get too carried away. Maybe I only need 12 of them instead of 18. When I first glanced at this, I assumed that ones that were showing the advanced core, that the advanced one was made out of the basic one, but maybe that is false. It appears to be completely made of titanium. Yeah, maybe I'll just make 12 to get us started, and then I'll probably have to make another run of these later, but I'll have a much better feel for how many of them I need by then. Anyway, that's not a huge here nor there. I will gather the rest of that stuff and we'll get the assembly done, and we'll open up Advanced Rocketry. Be right back. So I'm back momentarily. One thing I want to point out to future me and anybody who might be watching, so a lot of this wasn't too bad. I had some leftover flux crystals and flux infused electrum from making my flux infused helmet. I've got a lot of machines in place that made not making this far through things not too bad. I've still got some more stuff to do. I've got the step with the rosin and the cinnabar and the slag to do left. But one thing I wanted to point out is the cinnabar can be important for a couple reasons. This and also in iridium production mid-game. And a lot of the ways to make it, it's like there isn't destabilized redstone ore, and gelid cryothium isn't easy to get a hold of necessarily. And so you can't like get it from pulverizing this stuff. It's only 10% out of gold ore, etc., etc. So one thing I want to point out is that it's 25% out of redstone ore that has been silk touched. So fortunately, between the void miner and between me using my my silk touch mining pick to do so much vein mining, I do have tons of silk touched redstone ore. So I'm going to feed that through the pulverizer to get myself some cinnabar, and that's going to help me out here. It also helped me out when I think it's, let's go uses, induction smelter, I think it was. Yeah, no, that's not it. This is the other recipe that was pretty important mid-game, is cinnabar plus platinum ore yields platinum ingots, but also a 100% chance of iridium ingots. So anyway, just a note, silk touched redstone ore through the pulverizer to get cinnabar for both iridium and for just general all-purpose cinnabar use is a handy thing to keep in mind. And I'll be back when I'm ready to do the final combines. Alright, so nothing's ever quite as easy as I think sometimes, although some things are much easier. So it turns out that when I saw rosin was made out of fractionating resin, I assumed that this resin was just the resin out of a rubber tree melted. Bad assumption. So when I went to actually click on this and double check, it's actually from the Resin Funnel Augment to the Sawmill. And as you saw things, you then gain a little bit of resin. And there's only a couple of tree types that give a decent amount of resin. Pine, which I don't have any of, and spruce give 20 millibuckets. And I'm going to need about 2,400 millibuckets. So I didn't have any spruce, didn't have any pine, but I did have some spruce saplings. So that's what I'm out here doing, is getting myself some spruce logs. But the good news is that I already had the sawmill, and I even had it set up because I needed some more wood. And I had some spruce saplings, and I have bone meal, so I can do this. Boom, instant big ass spruce. So all is not as dire as it could have been. But it will take me a few more minutes than I anticipated to bust out. There's only a 50% chance of getting rosin when you are fractionating. Whoa. That was weird. But yeah, only when you're fractionating the resin that I will be accumulating with my sawmill, there's only a 50% chance of getting rosin. So I don't know how much I'm going to need to do. But I'm going to just go ahead and make a ton here. But I thought I would show this, that you never know. Sometimes early in the game you don't want to keep saplings because you don't have lots of room, but it's always good to have some stuff on hand. And the other thing is that I don't know if everybody knows that you can. Here, I'll show you. If I just put one down, it's sort of an anemic, bushy guy. So to speed things up, I can put 4 down and do a mega-Spruce. Oops. And that is a lot more wood than 4 individual little bushy trees, obviously. So I've probably got plenty now. If you're wondering where all the wood is going, yes, my axe is also hooked up to Global Traveler and Brown Magic. So it is all going into my ME system. Alright, so let's go see how much spruce I have. 662. It's not bad for the very little amount of time that I was out there. I didn't even burn through. I made myself multiple stacks of bone meal because I couldn't remember how much it would take. And I only used less than one, I think. And I started with 12 spruce saplings, and now I have 52. So off camera, an episode or two ago, I had set up the sawmill, and I had even hardened it to make it go faster. So it has one advancement and an augmentation slot. Actually, no, I had hardened it to make auto input enabled. But anyway, so all I had to do was make the resin funnel, which was a really easy recipe. And now we should be able to do this. And we are accumulating resin. So I'm going to guess I'm going to need to fill this up twice. So, maybe 8 buckets worth, just to make sure I get all the rosin I need. This is all something new and different, playing with the sawmill and making mega-Spruce out of spruce saplings with bone meal, and playing around with the resin funnel. We did also get an update for the resin funnel, so that was another cool little side benefit here. We would have made one eventually anyway. So I made some rich slag earlier, so that's good. And I made the resin funnel to get this stuff. So we're just going to keep feeding that through. See what we got here. Dragon's Breath, rare. I was very happy to get the first load of that because it allowed us to make the angel ring. I'm less interested in the other. A railgun for Advanced Rocketry. I don't know what that is, if that's an actual weapon or if that's a launching mechanism for a capsule or what, but it's epic loot. I'll take it. So as you can see, I made a bunch of cinnabar and then used some of that cinnabar to get some rich slag. So we got all that going. Basically, we're down to just needing the rosin. Is the only sort of new and fun thing that we're still working on here. And I can't remember if I have a fractionating still or not, to be honest. Yes, I made it to unlock stuff. I made it on that jaunt where we unlocked all of this junk. It was the actually holding me up. Oh, and look at that. Rosin is one of the things we're supposed to make. So yeah, I haven't actually hooked it up and used it yet, so that'll be nice. I always feel better about making things when I use them. So let's see, how much more spruce do I have? A lot. So that was 3 stacks. I'm going to guess that I'm going to want maybe another 3 stacks to make sure I get all the resin I want. And I'm going to have plenty left over. So that's all working out. So now we got to figure out what to do with the fractionating still, how to get that hooked up. Let's see. Let's take a look at that recipe. Let's see. So I'm going to put resin in. It's going to do its thing. It's going to put rosin out and tree oil, which hopefully we'll just be able to avoid that. I think the tree oil can be used for a fuel and stuff for a generator, but I don't need to bother with that right at the moment. Only a 50% chance of rosin. And it's 200 millibucks. 200 millibuckets give you that 50% chance. So on average, 400 millibuckets is going to give me a rosin. I want to make a dozen of them at least. So that's 4,800 millibuckets. A little to spare. So yeah, if I fill this up twice and do that, I should have plenty of rosin and for what I'm doing now, and rosin to spare for next time. So we'll go ahead and make this 4,000 millibuckets plus some more. Always handy to have more. Let's see if we can just pump this straight in. This is an odd place to be doing all of this, but I've got power right here. Let's see if I can make the bottom. So the bottom is set for input into there. So if I make the top output, boom, there it goes. Hey, and we've got rosin. So now the only thing I'm not sure is if I'm going to get enough rosin before, hold on, I have to sneeze again. Not sure if we're going to get the rosin we want. I need at least 12 rosin before this fills up, and if this fills up, is it going to stop working? While it's doing that, we can feed this back through. We are doing good. So we've just about got the 12 rosin that I need. Then I'll probably just finish this out and at least do the rest of the wood that I got on me. So there's that. Yay. Well, let's cook it along. Let's see what we get. Loot chest. Random animal. 8 of them. Alright, so I'm just gonna stop recording now, and I'm gonna finish this up, and let's see, the thing that I'm working on now, but I can do that off camera real quick since it's just combines in a crafting table. We're making the Signalum cell frame full, which is in the induction smelter. You put in there with 40 blocks of redstone. It's expensive, but I've got it. So let's see. So that's the step we're on. We're just making these guys, and then we got to fill it. And then I think we're good to go. I've got all the cinnabar and rich slag I need. I got all the signalum plates I need. I got 3 of these guys full. I filled them with lumium. Fortunately, there's an easier way of making lumium than running it through the smelter or whatnot. I just use the alloy furnace to make a tin silver alloy, and then through glowstone in the magma crucible to melt glowstone, and then use the fluid infuser to put the glowstone into the tin silver alloy. And since both of those machines are something I've been using and something I have upgraded and something that are fast, that actually went pretty easy. Silence. We can't have silence. Alright, so I'm going to let that cook just so we have a little spare rosin for the future. And I will be back. That's another thing I did was, let's see, I've got to make my plating, but you can see I have 49 uranium-238. That was pretty easy. The Isotope Separator, the nice thing about these Nuclearcraft machines is that they're all pretty quick, and the core pieces, these machine chassis, aren't that hard to make. Steel ingots, lead ingots, and one tough alloy. And tough alloy is only ferroboron and lithium dust, so it's not that bad. It's not like you have to do 15 machines to get it. So those cores are pretty easy, and I have the rest of this stuff set up to autocraft. So on the whole, it was not too bad to make the inductions. The isotope separator, and it just very quickly turned uranium into uranium-238. So this plating didn't turn out to be as hard as I was concerned it would be. This guy, we have sulfur. This stuff's all pretty easy at this point. Alright, so we have 8 spare rosin for next time. That's enough. So I'll probably just let all that stuff sit there for now. And I'm going to do some final combines and we'll see where we're at. Be back in a moment. Alright, gate, advanced rocketry, done. I went ahead and made 18 of them just in case. These were a long enough build that I want to make sure that I have plenty until, much farther down the road. So let's take a look at what we won. Gates. It's been a while since we opened a gate. So we're going to get 4 liquid fuel tanks, a seat. It doesn't look like a very comfortable seat. And 16 titanium ingots. I'll take that. I will need materials from other planets to make some of the creative items. So creative items I think are obviously super powerful things like creative tanks and creative capacitors and creative blah blah blah, I don't even know what. And then those are probably used in other recipes. So we'll probably have to worry about that when we get into draconic revolution. Draconic evolution. Alright, so that is open. And then if we go down here to Advanced Rocketry, click on this. Holo Projector is a device that can project 3D blueprints of the various multi-block machines this mod adds. Sneak and right click will open a menu that lets you select which multi-block you wish to make. Once you've selected one, simply right click on the ground to place the blueprint. The blueprint will tell you which blocks need to be placed where. Once you're done with your construction, you can simply right-click the controller block of the mechanism to finish it. Alrighty. We actually have to make one. When you look at this, it looks like some huge horrible thing. We can actually make that. Let's go ahead and let's try and at least get one of the things in here. So we're going to do, although this bad boy, bada bing, and bada bing. There, now we actually made something. And can claim that. And we've already made titaniums and gotten some more as a reward. So we can claim that. Before you're able to get to space, you can make titanium in the Advanced Metallurgic Fabricator. Done it. We're on top of that. And now finally I can look at this and see what it is. Several multi-block machines in the mod make use of either coils, motors, or both. These come in several tiers, with the more expensive ones being made. One's making the machine work faster, but any given machine will accept any of them. So I guess that's just an important safety tip. So we will detect that and claim. And now we're here. These are sort of what I was going for. I think some of these machines might be handy. Whoa! Yeah, they're much bigger and more complicated than I thought they were, but let's see. The rolling machine is a multi-block machine that uses RF and water to make plates much more efficiently than small plate presser, SMAL. It's no apostrophe. Oh, it shouldn't have an apostrophe. Never mind. I went into erroneous grammar patrol. Its other uses include the ability to craft sheets and blah blah blah. It's recommended to make this machine early to cut down metal cost. Alright, so the lathe is another one. You can make rods. And Crystallizer, dilithium. Nice. Cutting machine. Alright, so there's all sorts of stuff here. Precision assembler can assemble electronics much more efficiently than by hand. Yada yada. So I think what we're going to do is this ought to keep us busy for a bit. I'm going to go ahead and work on doing a lot of this stuff and seeing what these look like and seeing how much room they're going to take up, for crying out loud. Whoa. Alright, let's see what we got in the loot chests. I've completely lost track of time. Block of fiery metal, okay. Lanterns, okay. Chemical thrower, alright. Insanium essence, that is probably a wonderful thing to get. It's rare and I'm nowhere near it. How many did we get? Just the one. Well, still, that's probably a nice thing to get. So, we have made progress. All of this has been a distraction to keep me from freaking out about upgrading my void miners. But if we check on these, we've now got 4, 5, almost 6 stacks of uranium and a little bit of litherite to boot, which we're going to need some because we need to make a few more litherite pieces to upgrade them to our rhodium pieces. So I think we're probably about ready. So the things over the next couple episodes we're going to do is try to upgrade both of these bad boys to tier 2. If we take a look at where we're at on our cobblestone for getting to the deep dark, we're still at 2 quintuple, 4 quadruple. So we need to get up to 4 sextuple. So we got a ways to go on that. That's probably going to take us a bit longer. Probably 4 or 5 episodes down the road we can go to the deep dark. So the immediate things to do would be to start working on these advanced rocketry machines and to upgrade our 2 void miners, the ore and the resource void miners, to tier 2. That's probably what we'll be doing over the next couple of episodes. And I will see you next time. Bye.